Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Philly Sports Podcast. You got Wayne and Tim starting off. Ephraim supposedly on his way. And Ethan had some. I'll tell you, for them to be the light-skinned boys, they sure do act. Never mind. But Eagles, number one team in the NFC, number one seed. I mean, we get the week off, get to watch everybody else, get to rest up. The quarterback get to come back. The game was tighter than I would have liked it to be, but I don't think anybody ever felt any kind of doubt that the game was in hand. Not for me anyway, but I would like to see the Eagles have. I think the Eagles really wanted to just go ahead and run. They could have just ran the ball and won this game easy. They won. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't now what was it was just a couple plays in there that was kind of Blankenship. How do you get get trucked by a quarterback on a one-on-one in USC? Oh my God, that was and that last touchdown for the Giants, that was a great catch. People gonna say what they want to say about Slay, this, that, and other. That was a great catch that boy made for the Giants. That last touchdown for the Giants.
He did.
But what you get out of the day? Anything?
I do know that Jalen, something really is wrong with Jalen, and I think the Eagles wasn't honest as far as how injured he really was. You show he didn't want to take no hits at all. You saw that he tried his best not to. I mean, he slid all that sliding he was doing. That ain't Jalen. I mean,
he should have. What you wanted him to be out there trying to run people?
I'm glad he played smart. I thought it was a great. I'm glad that he played smart today. He didn't take unnecessary hits. I do think they put him in a difficult situation by passing a lot. I thought they could have ran the ball a lot more than what they did. But the Giants had nothing to lose. They had nothing to play for. This was all fun to them. There was no pressure. When you know how Bulls when there was no pressure, they'll do. You saw they tried to fake a field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, they did all. They threw out everything. This was all a fun game for them. For us, it was a necessary game, but for them, it was fun. The Bull Webb made his first start. He looked like he was he's a solid backup quarterback. But
he's that third string, ain't he?
Yeah, third string. His first NFL start. So I mean, Hurts was fine. Jamar Oliver, Hurts looked fine to me too. He was okay.
Hey Knuckles. People keep saying that, and Tim was saying that before about not showing what your whole playbook is. At this point in the season, everybody know what you run. Like I don't think it's too much, or is it some plays that you ain't ran all season that you just gonna all of a sudden pull out in the playoffs?
Maybe.
I don't. It ain't gonna be too many of you. You especially if you're the number one seed, you play with what got you here. So now in hindsight, thinking about it, maybe they were doing a lot of passing since Jalen didn't play the last 2 weeks, and then we're gonna have another couple weeks off. Maybe they wanted to get him some live action tosses, you know what I'm saying, and throwing it around.
The kill shot. I think they wanted to get Jalen out the game, so it was like let's go for the kill. But props to the Giants secondary because they played our receivers well. They wasn't allowing a lot of that over the top stuff. They really were.
It looked like we set Miles down Miles got set down kind of early. I'm hoping it wasn't no injury. You know, with him, you never could tell. But it seemed like they started getting Boston Scott more around. Boston Scott's a Giants killer.
He's a giant killer. That's the way. He's a giant killer. That's what he do. So maybe they just knew what he'd do against the Giants, and he did it again today. So why not play him?
Yeah, Ampu Mines. I agree. And this is what I was saying. I mean, pretty much up like the midway point of the season. I feel like the Eagles just a better team than all the rest of these other teams. Like no team to me, I feel like we can beat any team and we should beat any team in the NFC at least. Like I really don't. There's no team where I feel like, oh man, we gonna go up against them. The odds is not in our favor, or it's not even at least a fair fight. I feel like the Eagles are on that type level. Yeah. I mean, we lost 3 games this year. 2 of them was with the backup quarterback, and the one. Not to sound like a homer, but that Washington game, it was a lot of
4 turnovers.
It was a lot of suspect refereeing with 4 turnovers, and we still didn't get mopped in that game. So I think the Eagles are that team, and hopefully it carries over into the playoffs, and everybody will be rested. Hopefully, some of the guys that's dinged up and injured to get this time off, rest up, and we come in fresh and ready to rock.
I agree. I was hoping that we was gonna finish this like by the half. That's what I
Me
wanted.
too. Me too.
I wanted them to be chilling, playing, laughing on the sidelines, but they earned it. I gotta give congratulations to Nick Sirianni, to the coaching staff, to everybody, the players. They earned this first round bye. They did something that hasn't been done before as far as 14 wins for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I mean, congratulations. Now it's a whole brand new season starting in 2 weeks. Now we can just sit back and chill. I'm okay.
Yeah, and I agree. We haven't had. He said we haven't had a good performance since the last Giants game. I think there's been a lot of stuff that going on. Like when you talk about like the injuries and stuff like that. I feel comfortable with this team. I think the defense, like even with for real, like some people on this pod has given the defense a lot of gripe over it, and I get it because we want to have a gangrene defense, so the defense coming around smacking everybody up, don't let nobody move the ball at all. That's really not conducive to football nowadays. Like you know what I'm saying? It's an offensive type game. This defense gets the stops for the most part. They get the stops when they need to get the stops, and they do. They get the sacks. I think they led the league in sacks this year, or I don't know if it's still up. Yeah, they lose it or not. But
we almost got the sack record. We needed 2 more, I think, 1 or 2 more to get the all-time sack record. I mean,
yeah, we could have if we'd had 1 more if your boy Brandon Graham ain't missed that sack. No, let me stop. He had that boy did. I swore he had that sack. Boy just stepped off on
him. That pickup of Quinn was bad. I don't see him doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean you can't hit on everything but I mean everything else they got the
hit on everything.
The tackles we picked up, like for real, for everybody else that we got, all the Blankenship stepped up when he came in, and now Epps is back, and Epps was in there. Epps was looking good today. He was all over the place.
I agree.
Bradbury had a good game. Slay was a little. Slay could be hit and miss sometimes.
Slay, all that talk, he embarrassed the boy Josiah Scott, and now he get one of the biggest. He almost cost us the game, man. So he owed him a.
What, you talking about that last touchdown?
Yeah,
man, that was a great catch. He was all over the boy. He had the ball covered. That was an outstanding catch. And pass. My man caught that joint one hand, tucked into the gut, and got both feet down. That was a great catch.
But Slay hasn't been playing well for the last few weeks either.
All right. Well, I mean, I think he's played better at different times in the game, but however, I'm not overly concerned right now with that. Like I said, I'm ready to line up and face anybody. I think we're number 1 for a reason, and we should be a favorite against whoever we face.
Are you not worried or concerned, but how do you like to match up if we had to go up against the 49ers?
I don't care.
To me, they're the most pressing person that we our biggest competition, because their defense is really, really good.
Hey, thanks, Lionel Robinson.
Shout out.
It was an ugly game, and I agree with you. Jalen was. Listen, Tim's not going to hate on Hurts. Hurts is probably Tim's favorite player in the league right now. So it has been that for the last couple of years. So Tim ain't gonna hate on Hurts. If anybody would have been the one being critical of Hurts, it would be me. And I'm telling you, I don't think that it's a problem. I think Hurts has proven to be what he is, which is the best, the quarterback on the best team in the NFC, and leading that team. And when he's in there and he's playing and he's on top of his game, even on the games where he's at all games, he's captained this ship. And he's only lost 1 time, and even in that game, I think it should have been a win. So I have nothing that I can say negative about Hurts this year. Hurts is nothing.
It was just like a different feel for him taking over versus
the
last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a confidence. You can feel the confidence when he's behind there, when he's back there for the team.
He's like, "Daddy's home now. Don't worry about it. I got this, y'all. I got it." So I mean, because he's a leader.
Daddy's home, huh? Okay. I wish a man would come in the locker room and tell some daddy's home.
Daddy's home, man.
Yeah, don't say that in the locker room.
On 4th and 2, there's a play on 4th and 2 where Jalen Hurts actually told the offense to go back to stay on the field, and Sirianni kind of overruled him. That usually don't happen, but I guess they're still trying to protect Jalen, which is good.
Oh yeah, you know what Jalen probably wanted to do, because we had a couple plays, like we had a play in there where where what's his name? When Minshew was in there, we tried to get the fourth down
Yeah.
and try and it ain't get. Listen, Jalen, you ain't got to prove nothing, bro. I get it. Like you've shown this year, you've shown what you are and who you are. Like you don't feel like you got to come back in this game. And I think that's the coach did a good job of reeling them in on that because it's like you don't got to come out here and prove nothing. Everybody in this team, everybody in that locker room knows who you are. Like we don't need you to come out there and try to prove nothing and mess around and get hurt.
So now we got in the playoffs right now is the 49ers, the Vikings, the Buccaneers, the Cowboys, Giants, and the Packers or Seahawks. So if it's the Packers, it's gonna be we're gonna get some veteran quarterbacks, some people who have that experience.
Didn't we already face the Packers?
But they're not playing like they were playing when we played them. They playing a much better team. I think they won like 4 or 5 in a row.
Okay. But and this is
you still got Brady. Brady's still Brady.
Man, listen. This is how I see it, and I'm not trying to come up. I know if there's somebody on here from another team, fan, and everything else, and feel like, oh, being homer, it's not. And ain't nobody said that, but it's not like we're being homers. We're the best team. We have the best record. Like this. My thing is, if the Niners had the best record and we were in Niners position, then you don't think everybody else?
We only got one less loss than we do. It's not like
okay, but they got one less.
Great record.
Okay, their record is all right. Ours is better.
It's not as these are cupcakes. These are teams that are, and then
which team has a better division, the Eagles or the Niners?
Of course, the Eagles right now.
All right, so we the best team in our division, and our division is 3 teams going to the playoffs. There's only one team not going to the playoffs out of our division. So this what I'm saying. Like the Eagles are the truth. The Eagles are the real deal. Like so now if they fold in the playoffs for whatever reason, like even if they lose, if it just so happened to be like one of them things where it's just any given Sunday type things, it happens. But if I don't expect them to come in here, and I don't expect nobody to be better than the Eagles in the playoffs from the NFC. I really don't. And that's not being a homer. That's just going off. We played all these teams. Remember when we played Jacksonville and it was a tough game and everybody was like, oh, y'all barely beating Jacksonville. Jacksonville's in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Remember when they talking about, oh, the only team you in Minnesota is Minnesota. Kirk Cousins trash. Minnesota was they only lost one game, and that was against us for the longest period of time. You know what I'm saying? So Eagles handle business.
What I didn't like about that game, I didn't like Jalen Hurts playing hero ball, which sometimes he gets stuck in his head. I don't think he was playing hero ball. He was playing hero ball. Hand the ball off. Hand the football off. We made the game harder on ourselves than we needed with all that passing. Too much passing. We got pass happy again. We're a running football team. Stick to the basics. We could have had that game over way earlier if we'd have just handed the ball off, man.
Maybe
sometimes the RPO sometimes is a gift and a curse. Call running plays. Remember before Hurts got hurt, the coach said he has to call some designated run plays for Miles Sanders. Understand we gotta get Miles the ball. Hand the ball off. Ain't that hard?
I mean, I agree, but in hindsight, after I thought about it, like, do you think it's anything to it? Like maybe they just wanted to get some pass reps up there for Hurts in game situations since he was off for like 2 weeks and then he's going to be off for another 2 weeks. He's not going. Maybe they just want to get some game time.
A lot of that is predicated on Hurts, and we talked about this before. The coach said he has to. I forget the words he used, but he said with the RPO, a lot of that's left up to Hurts in order to run or pass. He said he does have to call some. He has to call some straight runs sometimes, not the RPO. A lot of times with the RPO, Hurts either keeps the ball or he passes. He doesn't hand off. He's more likely to pass the ball than hand off an RPO. Jalen Hurts is. I don't know what he's saying, but the coach even alludes to that. And he said he does have to call some more straight run plays for Sanders because we need to give him the ball. Don't stop playing hero ball. Even when he's down there in the goal line.
There was no hero ball. There was
no hero ball. Even if he's down there in the goal line, that touchdown that got called back, if he handed that ball off, was a touchdown. If he handed that ball off, it was a touchdown.
But he threw a touchdown.
That got called back because the lineman was halfway down the field because it was an RPO. It was an RPO. You got to understand the play. The lineman got too far down the field because the pass took too long to develop.
It was still he threw. That's
no, he didn't. It wasn't a touchdown on the stats. Was it a touchdown on the stats?
It was a touchdown. They called it back, which was whack. Which they
was it? It wasn't a touchdown then. Sometimes stop playing. Just hand the ball off. Sometimes stop making the game harder than it is.
Good pass. He caught the ball.
It was called back. Dude was halfway down the field because of the RPO, because it's run play option.
But I don't think. But I don't think
be a quick pass. You gave the lineman too much time to get too far down the field.
No,
that one, I agree. I kind of agree with you on that one. But like Herb made the point to say, like they came out. Like I don't think that they ran. It didn't look like they ran a whole lot of RPOs early on. They looked like they just came out passing. It didn't look like it was like RPO plays. It looked like they was coming out. They were just coming out trying to air it out.
RPO. That first play when he caught it and ran out of the field to AJ was an RPO.
I don't think they called any.
But I don't think it was a whole lot of RPOs. Yeah. I don't think it was a whole lot of RPO plays being called tonight. Honestly.
It was a lot of RPO.
A lot of them passes I don't think was RPO passes. I think they was coming out just some straight passes.
Well, it was a good week. A good weekend. This is how you end off a weekend. You get the Eagles win, Sixers win, and the Dallas smackdown. You can't get no better than that. I feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Like I just had a cup of nice, like warm cappuccino. You just got the day off of work and you sit back and chill and sip on this, and it's snowing outside. It's nice and cold outside, but it's nice and cozy inside. And you feel all warm and fuzzy, and you feel like today is just gonna be a good day. That's how I feel right now. I feel like
slant. Don't mean it was RPO.
And you put a little something in your cappuccino, maybe a little Henny, a little amaretto or something, and you just smooth out. Good times. I'm satisfied.
Amaretto.
Yeah, I like amaretto.
That's the weakest drink you can get besides a daiquiri.
He probably sipped it with his finger.
I'm not talking about amaretto sour. I'm talking about the old-fashioned liquor. The liqueur.
But, yeah, liqueur, not liquor. Liqueur.
Yeah, liqueur. Yes. It was.
So, what's your thoughts on the game? How you feel that Jalen did?
I mean, to be his first game back, he didn't do bad. I mean, it was I don't know. He played decent. A couple times he's under duress. He had to throw some balls away. I think he held back from being the Jalen that we all know and love, the MVP Jalen, because I'm telling you, the way he played, I'm sure they drilled in his head all week. Get down, don't run. Throw the ball away. We'll live to play another day. Worst case scenario, even if we lose this game, we still in the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, and we probably still win the division because then Dallas end up losing. I'm sure they had people keeping track of that.
We needed the Niners to lose too. I don't know what they're doing.
So, no, I'm talking about to win the division. So all we needed was Dallas to lose to win the division, but we needed Dallas and the Niners to lose. The Niners won. The Niners blew the doors off of Arizona. We needed them to lose to win the number one seed. But I'm sure they would rather have Jalen healthy, even without the number one seed, than having Jalen hurt and possibly get hurt and then still win the game. So they had him playing tentative, so he didn't do the stuff that he normally would do, the superhero man and running down the field 20, 30 yards. He could have had
Ethan said he was playing hero ball.
How is tentative? Tentative is not passing the ball that many times. Tentative to me is handing the ball off.
I'm talking about getting the ball at your hands. He took it some time, but when he ran, he got down immediately. He didn't really take no unnecessary shots. He got out of bounds or he got down. Sometimes he slid down very early. People was like 5 yards away from me sliding down to the ground. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad because you don't want to risk no possible injury, no fluke hits and nothing like that going into the playoffs. So I don't think this is the Jalen, in my opinion, this is not the Jalen we saw week 1 through 14 games. This is not the Jalen we saw with that. So
I agree.
He looked decent throwing the ball. A couple balls downfield looked good early through the quick slant to Devontae, and to AJ Brown, and he threw the bomb to him and all that. AJ Brown gotta know how to get out on them bombs. He be having steps on cats, be getting tracked down a little bit, man. You gotta get your skate on. Like,
man, come on. Listen, everybody can't do everything.
But listen, number one receiver is supposed to do. This is why you're number one. You're supposed to be able to do it all. You're supposed to be this. You are the TO. This generation's TO. You're supposed to be. You gotta be out.
Listen, let me ask y'all. Is it a little? House. I know he got the record. I don't want to. He took 17 games to get it. Do you look at that differently?
What, the sack record?
Quick did it in 16. The receiving, all Eagles receiving record.
Oh yeah, it definitely is different. You could well, no, because if that's the case, do you look at Quick's different because you got guys that played football when there was only 14 games in the season. So I mean, at what point?
I do go by games. I remember when the touchdown record that Randy Moss broke with Jerry Rice, I think it was 18 touchdowns. I think Rice did that in like 12 games. So was Moss's impressive? Oh, absolutely. But was it better than what Rice did? Not at all. I don't think so. Even the sack record, if we got the sack record, I still would have been like, bro, we had an extra game to break it. You got to take that extra game into consideration now when you talking about records. I don't care what nobody say. Football is a 16-week schedule, or was for a long time. And like you said, sometimes before it was 12, then it went to 14, and then went to 16. So if somebody has a record in 14 games and you break it in 16 or you break it in 17, yeah, you gotta put a little bit. You gotta put a respect.
Only way I don't is if it's a per game average is the same or more. Like if the per game is more than.
I could give you that.
Now
but
might be easy.
If it's average per game, you would have been broke the record in the same time he broke the record.
Herb said this took the other guy before him 14 games. Was that Mike? Was that Tommy McDonald?
Now it's gonna be, I don't know, but now the 2,000 rushing yards is probably more attainable.
Yeah, it is a little bit more. I mean,
I don't think it is because I don't think it is. Not only do they not run as much, but more teams run by committee than just you. Like you don't really got those running backs that's you handing it off to them all game, every game where they get those kind of yards like that.
Then the passing yard is gonna get smashed though. Passing is gonna get smashed.
Oh yeah, all passing stats.
Yeah, no,
I mean the game is a whole lot faster now. I mean it's a fast. It seems like a faster pace to the game. You have more to like ripping and running up and down the field, going for the deep ball as opposed to the grinded out type game. So I think all stats, even defensive stats, are going to be up like you said, like the sacks, because you got more guys passing, interceptions, all those type stats to me is going to be up just because the game. I need to look at that to see. I don't know for sure, but it seemed like it's more plays during the game than it used to be. I mean, that might just be how it
came out the game without any injuries. That was the key thing. No one was lost in this game.
Hey, Jamar, I see you. Yeah, that was crucial, and we got the bye, so we got a chance for everybody to get rested up and healthy. So, I mean, we're gonna be good going in. I think whoever we play first, we going lay something on.
So, do we play the winner? I think we play the winner of the Dallas Tampa game.
Whoever it is done. It don't matter.
I don't know if Dallas wins that game. Dallas, man, they looking bad.
It doesn't matter who we play. I agree with you. Dallas looked trash today, and I loved every minute of it.
Hey, Ephraim, I was going to say the same thing. You know what team I'm worried about the most in the NFC? None of them. None of them. And they got a young, wet behind the ears quarterback and we got the best. And we got the best pass rush in the league. So you put that pass rush, putting that pressure on a young quarterback, I take.
You don't hold the ball on.
Okay.
Hey Jamar,
you got a good secondary too.
Real quick sidebar, and Jamar brought it up. That's the only way I'm going there.
I knew.
We don't gotta go there. Nope. We don't gotta go there.
This is what we do. We respect the people who stand stuff.
No, we don't.
He super chatted. That was a super.
It wasn't no super chat. Lane. So you said once again. Let me Herb saying once we get Lane back, and I agree because I think we were missing Lane Johnson. That was important. He said once we get Lane Johnson back,
Wayne could go back. I done seen Wayne go back 20 minutes of cover.
Come on, keep my name out your mouth.
You got muted.
Oh, Wayne, you muted.
So, am I still muted?
No. I just did it real quick and unmuted you.
So the only touchdown we had was Boston Scott.
In fairness, you're right, Jamar. You do. The more you shoot, the better. The more you can hit. Like that's the reality of the fact. Steph changed the game by doing that. But I don't think many people could have shot as many as him and shot as high as he did. But you shoot more, you're gonna make more. Yeah, I mean that's the reality. It don't mean it's skewed, but I mean that's you do something more, you're gonna break the record faster. So
okay. So
I agree with
that. Back to the Eagles.
But he's still the greatest 3-point shooter of all time, so it don't really matter.
Back to the Eagles. Is Hassan Reddick your defensive player of the year?
Yep.
Yeah. For the Eagles anyway.
I mean, because
I mean, Sexy and with.
I think 15.
Did he get one tonight?
I don't think he got one tonight.
That's nice.
I know he was all in that backfield though.
He was.
That boy was a problem.
he got a motor on him. He don't stop. Even if he missed the sack, and they get a pass off, he coming to whoever. If it's a short pass, he coming for him.
So
you know what's really impressive about that?
Who was our biggest? Who was the biggest pickup that we got on the offseason? Was it AJ or was it Hassan? Who was the biggest pickup for the Eagles?
It was probably tied. It might be tied. I might give a slight nod to Reddick. No, I mean, I don't know.
I might get a slight nod to AJ because I think especially early on in the season, AJ was anchoring that. Like he really was that guy that opened up everything else for everybody else. I mean, Reddick's a baller, but when you got this many guys on that defensive line that's getting sacks as well, I mean, some of that could be schemed. But
you know why I gotta give a little nod to Reddick, because remember he wasn't even blitzing every down early on during the season. Remember, dude kept throwing him in the coverage, and
he was in coverage. That's what I said. I might have to lean slightly.
We were screaming, "Why is this dude in coverage? Let him rush the quarterback." He don't rush the quarterback every down, which is even more impressive.
Remember last week he said he probably would have had 25 sacks if he let him do what he could do.
Yeah, if he just consistently rushed the quarterback, yes. Yep.
But I kind of agree with what Herb said about. He said how AJ took Hurts to another level, and this is not saying that Hurts wouldn't have got better, but remember it's kind of like remember when we brought T.O. in, Donovan game went to up there when he had T.O. in as a receiver. So I could see that point being made for AJ.
I agree with that, but can you say also the same thing about what Reddick did for our defense? We was even if you say on a 16-game schedule, we had 69 sacks. We was 3 sacks away from the grand total, the 85 Bears, and we had 15 of them.
But we had 4 guys in double digits in sacks though,
and he led the way.
But they put up a stat today said that we was in 30th place last year. We was in last place or one of the worst teams in getting.
And the only new boy is Reddick.
I mean, maybe the defense coordinator made some adjustments.
Yeah, maybe
the boy y'all love to hate on. Maybe he made some adjustments.
Maybe the offensive coordinator made some adjustments to make sure that which
maybe
better this year. So
let's not. You need a number one receiver. We had no number one receiver.
And you need
now that AJ is a stud number one receiver, now it makes Devontae look that much better because now Devontae ain't got to worry about the pressure of being the number one and getting all that coverage on him.
And that's why we had double-digit sacks. They made everybody else look better too on the line.
Well, I think it also helped that we got some monster defensive tackles in there too, so that they could get that pressure in the middle to keep them from coming up the middle.
It helps that we are the best offensive line in the league to give Jalen time to throw it to AJ Brown as well.
Man, ain't that the same offensive line we had last year?
Yeah, but AJ Brown wasn't here last year.
Yeah, so AJ was the improvement. We upgraded our defense. We didn't upgrade our defensive tackles this year.
Okay, but at the same time, so was it AJ that made Jalen better, or Jalen made AJ better? Because this is AJ's best career that he's ever played as well. Best season he had in his career.
It was the same way with T.O. T.O. best season was with the Eagles. Did Donovan make T.O. better, or was it just that you're playing with a better player? I think Jalen's the best quarterback that he played with, and so they helped each other. But I mean, I'm saying that being said, I see it's an argument to be made for both. But what I'm saying is on that defensive line, we had we got the young boy Davis was in there balling. Then we went out and got Sue and the other guy. Like we got a defensive line rotation in there. And that's like that defensive line rotates a lot. But Reddick is a baller, but that defensive line does a lot of rotating.
First of all, slow down. Slow down, because you be saying a lot of stuff. The Eagles year wasn't T.O.'s best year ever. So slow down. Slow down.
Mm-hmm. What was his best year?
His best year was with San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
He had 93, he even had 100 catches one year. Eagles, he only had 70. His top catches for the Eagles only 77.
You're right, Auditor, but he missed. Yeah. He also missed like the last 5 games of the season.
14 games.
No, the last 2 games.
It was only last 2 games he missed.
2 games.
He played 14 games. So his best years with San Fran, we had 93 catches, 16 touchdowns.
I mean, but that's what I'm saying. That's why you got fact check Wayne be throwing a lot of stuff out there. But exactly. I'm not hating on AJ Brown.
I thought I asked the question. I didn't say. I don't think I said definitively. I said wasn't it his best year?
No. You said it was best. You said he had his best year with the Eagles. But that's not either here nor there. We're not going to bury you on that because we'll go back and check the tape. But
yeah, we do that.
What I will say is I'm not discrediting AJ, but I am saying this was his best year with Jalen Hurts. So he had his best year with Jalen Hurts, without a doubt. Jalen Hurts had his best year as well with him. So they both complement each other well. As far as Reddick goes, I mean, you could the same stuff you saying for AJ, how he made or helped Jalen be better. You could say Reddick helped everybody on our defensive line. How many sacks Graham had? Graham had double-digit sacks. Graham didn't have double-digit sacks in the last couple of years, right? If I'm not mistaken. So, I mean,
but I get what you're saying. But to my point, that defensive line has a rotation. AJ is basically in there every play. That defensive line does a lot of. Reddick isn't really every defensive play. On the field.
He probably plays 70% of the snaps.
Who?
Reddick.
Reddick's not in there every play though.
Reddick in there a lot. AJ not in there every play either though.
I mean, it's
I don't know if AJ takes a lot of plays though. I think he plays more plays than more percentage of the offense than Reddick plays defense.
I mean, the way we arguing, I mean, it probably could be equal for real the impact that they had. 15 sacks is a monster year. When the last time we had somebody have 15 sacks on our team?
16.
And it was 16. When the last time we had somebody have 16 sacks? That's crazy. And he's and it's not, to me, for him, it's not even necessarily sacks. He's all over the field. He's motivated, don't stop. Like I love the way he plays the game, man. He plays just with a certain type of passion and energy that you rarely see. So he's definitely impactful. And I think he's gonna be real impactful come playoff time. I think he's gonna make some noise in the playoffs. So we're gonna see who really, I think that question gonna be answered on this trip to the Super Bowl. Who was the best pickup? Now, granted, football is the ultimate team game, so you can't say, well, if we'd have Reddick and we didn't have AJ, no, we need both them cats. So don't get me misconstrued when I'm saying that. They both play a huge role in what they do, plus one is offense and one is defense. But I'll just say this, I guess, for the sake of argument. Reddick is the best pickup on defense, and AJ was the best pickup on offense. I guess I could just.
I think either Hugh Douglas or Trent Cole probably had about 15 to 16 sacks one a year. So
that's what I'm saying. How long was that's my point.
Well, somebody said since Reggie White, but I think either one of them guys might have but that's the other thing though about AJ. So do you think that AJ affects our running game? I mean, think about how many undersized receivers that we had out there. Now you see Jalen where he you know what I'm saying? We get a lot more run. Our running game has been, I mean, our running game was decent. It was good last year too, though. But I agree with you. I think both of them. That's why I say I can see the argument for either player. I'm not saying one or the other. So
Trent Cole season high was 12.5.
It was only 12. All right.
Most he ever had in 1 year was 12.5. And Hugh Douglas, I'll tell you what Hugh Douglas was.
It's probably around the same as Trent. Now Hugh, I feel like Hugh might have been more than Trent. Just 1 year. How many? 15. That's what I thought. He was. So it's not 16. It was 15, but it was one less game.
And he had, and 2 times he had 12.5. He had 9 1 year. His first year he had 10 coming into the league. Then
Hugh Douglas had 15 and one less game, Jamar. So it's about the same.
Yeah, I mean, he was a beast though. Ain't no doubt about that. He was that bull. He was definitely that bull. But Reddick he put his smack down. And this is what irritates me about the mainstream analyst dudes, because all you hear about is Michael Parsons, Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa's a monster too. Don't get me twisted. He had 17 sacks this year. So
you need to be added. What you want to tell him to jump? Oh, his wife that made him go to the store in the middle of the pod. God. God.
That's what we used to call back in the day a GIMP mission. Young GIMP.
Young GIMP in black.
But yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, we have the most complete team we've had, and I think this team maybe even. Would you say this team is even more complete than the Super Bowl team? I mean, I guess you can't until we actually win, and we don't win, and you know. But
I do think it is though. I think our secondary is better. Because remember, we was have running backs might be a wash.
I think they might trump us a little bit in running backs though, a little bit.
Not the only reason why is because they didn't play the boy Trey Sermon here. He's on the bench. He was our big time, our power back that we needed. We never gave him no clock at all. I'm doing basketball references, but we never got
all right. But we say running backs, but can we add Jalen into that running back mix? I think we have a better running team.
But I'm just saying we need a power back.
We need.
No, but what I'm saying is, I think we have a better running team than we're a better running team than that team was. I think we have better receivers. I think better quarterback. So, better secondary.
Yeah,
because Jalen's way better. Jalen's way better than Nick Foles.
This and somebody mentioned this in the comment section. I don't know, Jamar Oliver, somebody, Mr. Wing, maybe. This was Graham's best sack year. He had 11 sacks this year. This is his best sack.
But y'all told me how great Graham was beforehand. So maybe Graham made Reddick better.
No, Reddick made Graham better. You mean?
How many sacks did Reddick have before he got here?
He had 10 the last 2 years.
So he only had 10 the last 2 years. So maybe this system made him better.
Or maybe he's getting better with time.
Or maybe AJ's got better than time. Y'all told me AJ numbers because AJ numbers was. So see what I'm saying is chicken or the egg. You know what I'm saying? Potato. We can go either way with that.
I'm not going back and forth with AJ on which we go. I'm talking about Graham right now. I mean, I didn't realize Graham that was his best year so far because Hassan Reddick was playing on the team with him. So I don't think it's just because that's what I'm saying. You maybe the defensive coordinator schemed better. And it also helps. And listen real quick. It also helps when your secondary is better. We had Bradbury and Slay back there as our corners, and Whit Maddox in the slot. When your secondary is better, your team is going to get more sacks. You know what I'm saying? Because we did have our share of sacks where the quarterback had nowhere to go, and our guys got out there. Would you say this is the best single season by a defensive end that the Eagles had since Reggie White?
Nah, I feel like that year Hugh Douglas had 15, he was dominant.
Yeah,
but I do agree with Mr. Wing. Was Hugh asked to play coverage like that too? Was Hugh asked to
he was strictly a pass rusher.
Like Hassan Reddick is all over the field. I don't never remember Hugh being everywhere like I see. Hassan be 20 yards downfield on play.
Hassan like a linebacker pass rusher. He like
an LT type.
What's the dude from San Diego from the Chargers? Like Junior, was it Sayal? Not Sayal, the other dude with the mohawk. Dude, you wear a mohawk. You know
Sean Marion.
Sean Marion. He like that.
Yeah.
Outside linebacker rusher.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the same style Dallas. The dude from Dallas play, right? Because
Michael Parsons.
Yeah.
But like I said, the national media boards, skipping all them arrows, Dallas, and you be missing dudes that don't get a recognition for a dude like Hassan Reddick who's playing outside his mind. But this is where you earn your papers. This is where you earn your keep. This is where you earn your respect in the playoffs. So come these next 3 games leading up to the Super Bowl, if Hassan Reddick ball out, he will now be that guy. Instead of mentioning everybody, Michael Parsons is going to be, Hassan Reddick. He's that man. You got to show out in these big games. That's why Graham, for real, that's why Graham gets so much love.
3 games. We got to win 3 games.
Yeah, we got to win 3 games. That's why Graham gets so much love. Graham gets so much love because that play in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady, and then every time Graham make a big play, you hear the announcers, 2017 Super Bowl, Tom Brady strip sack you make your name right here in the playoffs. So this goes for everybody in the team, but we'll see what happens.
All you gotta do is make one great play in the playoffs, and everybody will. You can have a sucky playoff run the whole year and make that one great play.
Hey, that's how it works, though. You
But let me ask y'all: did anybody watch the Sixers game?
Oh yeah. I watched the first half.
I watched it. I had the 2 screen situation set up. I had my projector popping on one side and the flat screen in the middle. And Paul Reed, and my 2 boys. Listen. Wayne been Wayne been talking about Paul Reed, so I give him credit on Paul Reed. I have been talking about Trez, and Trez was hooping today.
I'm gonna tell y'all,
was hooping.
I don't care. It was a bad team, so I really don't put no stock into this.
Oh, it's the NBA though. You gotta put stock in every game.
I don't put stock into a bad team like that.
Sometimes it was a bad team, but didn't Boston get spanked by OKC? Sometimes it happens.
OKC's not bad of a team. It's down. Name me one player on Detroit without looking at the stats. Name me one player.
Cade Cunningham. He ain't played though.
Yeah. Name me one player.
Bull LeBron. I don't know what they did. Bull LeBron about to fight that time.
See, exactly.
You don't know Bogdanovich?
Yeah,
you was arguing that he might have been the second best player on Utah. Now you don't remember Bogdanovich?
I said somebody else name me.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I see the point you're making. It was a bad team, but this is what I'm talking about. These are the teams that Paul Reed needs to play against. So give him that experience. And he was hooping all around the basket. He was getting rebounding. He was second chance shots he was creating. He needs to be out there, for real.
Hey,
cool that.
Hey, Martian Lynch.
Pistons beat the Warriors.
Play calling was bad. Without Steph, play calling was bad. I don't like the. And everybody says Nick's not doing the play calling. So are you blaming Nick or you blaming the dude doing the play call? But play calling was bad today.
I think play calling. Somebody said it too. I think it was a little vanilla today, Mr. Wing. I think it was deliberately vanilla. I think, like I said, Jalen wasn't doing half the stuff that we used to seeing Jalen do, and the plays wasn't called for him to do some of them plays neither. Come playoff time, Jalen got them 2 weeks. They gonna treat Jalen like it's week 1. Come that first playoff game. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna be no high inning. I mean, you always want your quarterback to be careful, but trust me, they're gonna be back to business as usual. Whoever we see getting that work, they getting that work. But as regards to Sixers go, Tim was right, Wang was right. I mean, Paul Reed. I still don't think he should necessarily be thrust into the starting lineup. But I was also saying Paul Reed needed time. I actually been saying this, so I'm not going to completely say I'm not saying that I was wrong because I've been talking about how Steve Kerr play his young players and Doc do the same thing with Paul Reed. Give him some minutes, give him a little bit here, a little bit there. That's how he played Paul Reed today. Paul Reed in the first 10 minutes, he has 6 points and 7 rebounds and like an assist and a block. That's what you need. And he had a couple offensive boards. So that's what
remember when y'all wanted to start Mike Scott over Paul Reed?
Nah, that was Mike Scott with somebody else. Was Mike Scott and Paul Reed even here at the same time?
It wasn't
yes,
Mike Scott over Paul Reed. It was over.
Yes, it was.
No, Mike
Scott. Nope. Paul Reed rookie year, and whenever B didn't play, Doc started Mike Scott at the center, and I said put a young boy in there, and y'all was talking about how good Mike Scott was.
Paul Reed ain't even playing. Paul Reed ain't even like Paul Reed's playing so great.
But he don't get no burn.
I don't even think
I don't understand.
Past Mike Scott.
I don't understand why Daniel House don't get no burn though.
Look at his rookie year. Mike Scott was. That was the argument was make. Mike Scott was here.
No, you wasn't arguing for no rookie Paul Reed like that. We wasn't.
Yes, I was. Oh, yes, I was.
First of all, Paul Reed, most of his rookie year, he was down in the G League. He went back and forth to the G League.
He was up there. They pulled him back up here.
That's what he won G League MVP.
The G League don't last that long. He was back up here.
That's what I'm saying. But how would you argue for somebody who was like?
Because I'm talking about on the bench because Doc kept starting garbage Mike Scott when B didn't play.
You capping. That was too long.
And y'all was hyped for Mike Scott because he was fighting Eagle fans. Remember that?
Nah. Well, I was hyped for him to play, but I don't think it was necessarily arguing over Paul Reed. And Paul Reed probably wasn't ready. Paul Reed is actually more ready now than he was back then. Remember, even at the beginning of this year, Paul Reed was making a lot of dumb mistakes.
You know why?
He do. No, he do. He definitely do.
You know why we wanted to know why I wanted Mike Scott to play? Because I wanted him to bring toughness like y'all swear PJ will bring. That's why I wanted
he do. PJ got
Mike Scott ain't bring no real
toughness. Hard. Pause.
Well, PJ Tucker don't bring no toughness.
Yes, he do.
Yeah, I agree. And I realized that about Mike Scott, and I said that's why I said I ain't want Mike Scott in there.
PJ brings toughness. He just don't bring points. That he brings toughness. I give it.
You see how Ethan went from telling me I was lying when I said that about Mike Scott to all of a sudden owning up to the Mike Scott thing without saying that he was wrong.
It wasn't for Paul Reed.
Why wasn't it? Who wasn't?
I'm telling you, it wasn't. I don't even think Paul Reed was on the team.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. He's coming up with this Mike Scott and Paul Reed. I don't even remember them crossing paths like that. Be honest with you. But somebody said KD got hurt, knee injury.
Was Paul Reed here with Doc?
Serious. I like.
I mean, was Mike Scott here with Doc?
Not that I remember.
He wasn't here Doc first year?
I don't remember. Mike Scott ain't no
That's why they was like they like the typical Eagle, typical Sixers fan. They like first of all, I go front. I did like when Mike Scott came out and said
I know you did. Everybody, first of all, if I'm not mistaken, Wayne and Tim was just ones who was saying they want Sixer players on the team who ain't been raised by a nuclear family. They were saying they want people who was raised without their mom and dad, so they come to
that's Tim's line.
With a certain type of heart, with a certain type of hungry mentality. Remember that?
That's Tim. That was Tim's line.
That's right. When Mike Scott said that line too, Wayne was all over. Wayne ate that joint.
Oh, I know. I just said. I was with you when he said that. But that was the year. But that was the year before Paul Reed got here.
Hey, where's a couple haters? MOTC. Remember, he had a lot of Harden haters in the chat throughout. Now Harden been playing good. He had one bad game. The other night, everybody was hating on him. But Harden comes back, drops a triple dub, 20-11-11. Shoots 50% from the field, 60% from three. Now I don't hear nobody. I don't hear all this Harden hate. That's what I'm saying. Harden is cool. I'm not. Tim, you another one. Where's you? I don't hear you. You quiet.
Well, let me say. Can I get in so I can tell you what I'm saying? It was a bad team. You don't get.
Okay, but you drawing up Paul Reed though. But you drawing up Paul Reed though.
I wanted Paul Reed to get the experience. I'm saying Paul needs the experience, but I mean Harden, he's supposed to do that against that team. He's a 12-year veteran.
Okay, so give him props for doing it. I don't care if you're supposed to or not. The fact that it doesn't matter, he did it. And by the way, but if it's such a bad team, what happened to your boy D'Anthony? Where's all the D'Anthony Melton fans who ain't had 0 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block, and he was 0 for 5 from the field?
He played that through competition.
Y'all was trying to tell me that he was trying to tell me that he's better than Maxey. He automatically should be starting over Maxey and all this other stuff like that. Like we could trade Maxey now because we got Melton. Y'all remember that talk? I remember that we could trade Maxey because we got Melton talk. What happened to that?
Who said that?
Against a bad team, mind you.
Who said that?
I'm a Maxey fan.
You had people in the comment section.
Oh, okay.
Tim halfway agreeing with him a little bit.
Somebody right though. Remember Ephraim was in here talking about trans because trans don't. Boy, that boy be barely rim grazing. He got hung on a couple of joints a night. He barely get to the rim.
But he dunked it.
Yeah.
He dunked some of the balls in B layup.
He don't dunk nowhere near as hard as B. Cool out.
I hate no B.
I like Melton. Good player, better defender than Maxey, probably better rebounder than Maxey. Maxey just gets the green light right now when it comes to scoring and shooting. Melton don't really.
Maxey's a better all-around player than me.
I was watching the game tonight, and somebody tried to argue me that Thibault is a better offensive player than Paul Reed.
I mean,
so did you leave?
He's not.
No. I'm thinking PJ Tucker. I'm not.
No.
PJ Tucker. Yeah, Thibault is actually scared to shoot the ball outside of a 3. If Thibault don't got a wide open 3, he not taking it.
He don't even want to do that. He barely want to shoot the 3.
I could live with trading Thibault. I could live with that. I do like Thibault is like a bring-in dude when somebody getting hot to kind of maybe put some defense on him and cool him down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like he kind of did with CJ for a moment, because CJ probably would have had, would he end up with 48 or something? He probably would have had 71 if Thibault didn't get on him for a couple plays. But excuse me. But yeah, I mean, the Thibault though, his offense is too inept for me to think like he's so untradeable. This is my
only thing when we be talking about trading players. Again, I'm all for trading players that's going to make us better or improvement. But sometimes we just like, all right, if you trade Thibault, what you getting for him? Now, if you put him in a package, say if you package in Thibault and Toby and you bring it in, you know what I'm saying, somebody high powered to add to the team, I'm all for that. But if we just be talking about trading players, like if you're not talking about bringing something back that's going to improve the team, because like you said, to me, Thibault can be when he came, actually when he played defense on CJ McCollum that second game, the one that I went to, he was strapping him something. And then when he came out, CJ started going off again, and the game got tight.
Some dude you play once every 10 to 12 games. You
okay,
he was. What you worried about trading?
I'm not worried about. I'm saying not to trade him just to say to trade him. I'm saying I just said I'm all for any trade that's gonna make us better.
You can free up. But people talking about money for next year. It can bring you in a nice development.
He don't get no. He's not getting no real money. What money is he getting that's going to free up for you for next year?
He's not giving you nothing real to be worried about trading him for nothing. So
what are you going to get for him? But then trading for what?
He's really not doing much now anyway.
How he like I said, you can bring him in there for a defensive stop or defensive plays here and there.
Better fit for another team, and you might be better fit getting another player for him.
So you don't think
he's not even a rotational player? He's not a rotational player.
So who's the other player? So then what are you going to get for him then?
You might be able to get a rotational player. You might be able to get a Jonathan Isaac for him. Who knows? I keep bringing that name up because I think Sixers should go trade for him.
And like I said, if we can trade him and upgrade our team, I'm fine with that. But if you're talking about trading him, so if
he's not going to downgrade your team if you trade him. That's my point. You're not hurting the team by losing him.
Hey, Joe,
I don't necessarily agree with that.
I think Thibault actually do got some value for a team.
Exactly. I think he got value for this team.
No, I mean he do. I mean, but I agree with Ethan. I don't think he plays enough to be considered as valuable as some Philadelphia fans think.
So then if you trade him and you bring somebody else in, whose minutes is he going to take? The other person that's coming in.
I mean, depending on how good they are.
Yeah, all right. So if Thibault's not getting minutes, he's going to take whoever they trade him for is going to take somebody's minutes.
How about that?
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Or Tobias minutes.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, Which record said somebody Jamar I think said Thibault Pat Bev offense is better than Thibault. It is. I didn't know how good actually as a young boy Pat Bev was. I think I sent y'all the video. Pat Bev was in high school was like averaged like a 35 points a game or something. I don't know what he did in college, but these dudes, most of these dudes, especially a dude like Pat Bev who only like 6. Pat Bev is probably what 6'3", 6'4". To get in the NBA, you have to be skilled. Now sometimes you find your niche defensively where your offensive skill don't show. But to get into the NBA at 6'3", 6'4", you need an offensive game. You got to be nice. Now, a Thibault who's 6'7", a Draymond who's 6'6", you don't really need that much offense because you can make your niche on defense, especially if your defense is way over the top. Like Draymond to me is probably one of the best defenders in the NBA. And Thibault 6'7", quick twitch muscle, long. He don't have to be that skilled offensively to hang around the NBA. I'm just disappointed he hasn't grown like that. I think that's what I remember when Ethan was saying that's what he wanted to see Thibault bring back some offensive game the next year. And he was acting like he was working out with Toby all year and he came back with the same.
Right. Game. But this is my point.
That was cap.
This is my point. This is my point to where I say there can be some value for a Thibault. So you telling me if it's late in the game, late stage of the game, and you like subbing out defense for offense. So you telling me like if you want to put down to try to lock down and make a big defensive stop like last play of the game or something, you don't feel comfortable having Thibault out there for that?
No, because you're gonna foul him for the 3-pointer. You're gonna send him to the line for 3.
Exactly. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
So we gonna talk about the one play and put that.
No, he actually did it too many times.
He did it
3
times in that series.
Yes, he does do it too much. But I do. No, real rap though. I wouldn't mind seeing him guard somebody if he just stay on the ground for crying out loud.
Right. Stop trying to make the big play. Just
stay disciplined. He's a great defender. He really is.
He always gonna go for that though because he got it. He got it enough times where he gonna keep going for it.
That's true too. That's sometimes I agree. Sometimes your greatest strength is your greatest weakness. And when you feel like
if he get that still deflection, you ain't gonna be like, oh, he should have stayed on his feet. Hey, sometimes you gotta live and die.
That's true, but you gotta also know scenarios, and is it worth it for you to risk getting pump faked and jumping and now sending the ball to the line?
Yeah, give somebody 3 or 4 point play.
Situational awareness is everything, and I think he lacks that a little bit.
Maybe more playing time to fix it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like no. Listen. I'm not saying he's untradeable or anything. All I'm saying is we real quick to always talk about trade such and such, and this is the point that I was making, and I don't know if I made it on the pod or not, but I was making it in our chat. I'm tired of every year with the Sixers. It's always talking about making all these trades, this, that, and other. Then after the trade deadline, we make trades. Then we got to hear for the next couple of weeks. Well, this team has to gel together. They didn't get time to gel. At some point in some time, if your team is a good team, sometimes you just let them play together. Let them gel. Like just because somebody have a bad game or off game or something like that, don't mean you got to be like, oh, trade him. He trash. Get rid of him. Like. Sometimes you gotta stop being a little emotional when it comes to that
stuff. Was the dumbest thing, in my opinion, that the Sixers did after we lost that championship. Lakers, we broke the team up, and when Kyrie left LeBron, bro, if you stop getting your head big, Kyrie and LeBron could have ran back several chips. It would have been them and Golden State.
That was Kyrie's fault. That's Kyrie's fault.
But yeah, it was. He got big headed. People was telling him he made the shot, and he the one who won the chip for LeBron. He could be a superstar on his own and all this. And he wanted to try. He admitted, Kyrie. I give Kyrie credit. He admitted, he was in his own head thinking, he could do this and do that, but he didn't realize the greatness that you was really playing with, bro. You was playing with arguably the greatest player, or at least the greatest. In my opinion, the greatest all-around player ever to play the game. You got big-headed. You thought you could beat
Marshall Lynch. Marshall Lynch asked the question. He said, would you trade Thibault for Cam Reddish? In face value, I would be tempted to say yes. Only issue I have when it comes to certain players, like Cam Reddish, how come he has an issue? It seemed like it's an issue with him with both teams he's been on so far. You know what I'm saying? Like at a certain point, like is that guy, is he a locker room guy? You know what I'm saying? Or is he a guy that brings issues to the locker room? Like I don't know. I'm not saying because I haven't heard like he's just, but it's something I would have to look into. Sometimes where smoke is fire.
Yeah, I mean it could be. I mean that's just something that if you do that, and Jamar don't you trying to You're trying to trigger me, Jamar. I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to trigger me. I'm not going to take the bait. I will say this: if you trade Thibault for Reddish, if you think Reddish, okay, you did your due diligence and it was just the systems or whatever the case may be, and he all good to bring here on the team, I think you need to trade him and you need to trade him and PJ Tucker because now you got to get him into the lineup and you need to do some jostling around a little bit. I think Thibault and Tucker have to go, and you can go get Cam Reddish. I like that. If he's not this head case that Wayne is painting him up to be.
No. I don't know if he is. I'm about to say. No, I'm not. No, I'm like I said, I'm all for it. And I do think Cam has a better upside, but I just don't, trade Korkmaz House. See, but all right, but what are you going to get for any of them? See, that's my only thing.
House actually been playing. The minutes that he played, House been playing good. Him and Cork actually have been playing pretty good. They got some value. Now, who you going? But that's what I'm saying. If you going to start trading them to bring in somebody, more than likely, if you're trading them to bring in somebody who possibly going to start or get a lot of minutes. So that to me, now you have to trade somebody who's actually getting minutes. Like you were saying before, when you were saying if you bring in the Bull,
where the minutes going,
to go. So now you got to trade somebody who getting minutes. The only dude that everybody kind of wants to trade who getting minutes is PJ Tucker. So you got to throw him into the whole deal. You got to trade PJ if you want to trade PJ.
Or you make the trade and then sit PJ down if you make the big enough trade.
Justify sitting down $10 million on the bench. You can.
Man, if you want to win, you can. I don't care. Listen, I get what you're saying. This is where I have a problem. This is where I have a problem with a whole lot of those guys, like the GMs and stuff. At some point, you gotta swallow your pride and say, listen, there's a bad mistake. Let's just go with that's even the whole thing with Tobias. I get it how everybody feel about Tobias because the money he was getting and the money he's getting and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But don't just say get rid of him because he's making this kind of money or do this because he's making this kind of money. If he's producing, play him. PJ's not producing. So if you're not producing, then sitting down.
But that's my okay. Fair point. However, if I'm not playing you, why am I keeping you? So if I'm not
because you can't get rid of him. If you can trade him, fine. Ain't nobody trading you for no PJ Tucker.
Okay, I'm talking about put PJ in the pack. You got to put him in the deal somewhere and get him out of here because you can't really justify sitting $10 million on your bench and not playing him, but you paying him.
Oh, I can because he's not producing. If it's somebody else see that's where the politics of sports get on my nerves. Like sometimes it's just be smart about like, hey, listen, he not producing. Let's put the player in that's producing better.
I agree, but
guess what? You getting paid? You get how much you getting a year? 20 million? 10 million?
10 million there, yeah.
You getting that to sit on the sideline? Shut up and root.
No,
now you're a high paid cheerleader now. Be that.
I'm not even saying PJ probably will be mad, but that's not into the equation. The equation is you're still a business. All right, basketball, as much as it's an entertainment, and you want to win, the whole nother aspect of the game, which is just as important as the business aspect. So,
yeah, you want to win. That's good business.
Yes, but at the same time, part of your business is being smart with your money, and it's hard to justify.
But that's not smart, though.
Listen, but my thing is, for one, you can't make too much of an argument about it right now because we still winning. We're projecting that his inept offensive ability is going to possibly help us lose, but as long as we still winning, you can't argue with it. Like really, if you went to Doc and say, "Yo, I need you to sit PJ," and he'd be like, "Out of our last 10 games, we only lost 2." So what you saying? That's 80%. And you like, "Oh, well, I just think," he like, "Oh, you ain't see it yet." What you really want to say? If we was losing, then we would have more of a legitimate argument. But my thing is,
that's Doc's problem. That's how come he get in the playoffs and then his teams don't win because he's saying, "Well, we winning now."
Possibly. But if you are projecting and you feel the need that you want to make moves and get somebody better than PJ, you still have to package him somehow and get him out of here. I just can't see a owner or a GM justifying paying $10 million for nothing. So, I mean, we'll see where that goes. But I just think the best thing he could do right now is stagger PJ's minutes drastically, so where he's getting 20 minutes a game. You give him 20 minutes a game, I think we could be good with that. We could win and it won't be a problem.
I'm good with that too. But I just say, man, to me, it's just all that talking about just trading people just to trade people, because you don't like the way a person is, this, that, and that. Like we got to stop. At some point, you have to build continuity on a team and let a team gel together and play together.
No, I agree with that. But I mean, who you talking about? When the PJ trade or the Thibault trade?
I'm talking more like Tobias, like with
I mean,
even with that.
I agree with Tim. See, that's Tim though. Somebody asked, "It's gonna be? It ain't gonna be no Collins for Tobias trade talk today." They were referencing you, Tim, who always bring up the Collins and PJ. I mean, and Toby trade talk. But what Toby had today? Toby actually had a pretty solid game today
against a bad team.
It doesn't count. And that same bad team that your boy Shake Melton. I mean, not Shake Melton. Your boy DeAnthony Melton had 0 points. But that's either here nor there. I'm not gonna harp on that. But I'm glad we got the win. We should have got the win. We did. The NBA. Any given night, anybody could win. Even a bad team could beat a good team. But Sixers, hung in there without our star player. Still got the victory. I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this thing up.
Well, guess what? Against this same bad Detroit team, Collins went 4 for 10 with 8 points and 12 rebounds.
He was coming off an injury. Well, thanks for rocking. This is the end of the regular season for the Eagles, so thanks for rocking with us all season long. Much appreciated. Thanks for the love and the support. We got our regulars on here. Y'all come do faithfully. Appreciate that. Now it's time for the postseason. Let's make this thing work. Hopefully, we can get a Super Bowl run.
How we gonna talk about the fact that Tim just gonna go on a whole car ride? Lost his connection and everything else, then just gonna pop back on and say, okay, we wrapping up the show.
And I give you all that time to chill and talk. So you good job.
You could have just stayed off. You could have just stayed off. Me and Ephraim was here.
But Wayne does have the controls now.
But he didn't kill the momentum now. Now you might as well go. We sitting here talking. You done went on your joyride. You done went and picked up your wife's tampons and everything else. Now you want to come back in here. Now you want to come back in here telling us it's time to close the show.
That's on that note.
No, you're right though. He is right. You could have just. I thought y'all was gonna let me and Wayne do our thing, but y'all, you want to come back in here because you see me and Wayne doing our thing, and you want to come back in here. You want to assault the game.
That wasn't
this
it.
Is what you do.
That wasn't it at all. Anyway, y'all, like, comment, and subscribe.
My bad.
Hit the notification bell. We're gonna catch y'all on our next podcast. We out.
Deuces.
Peace.
Really, Wayne?